meeting is being recorded.
Hello and welcome to the weekly Phrancko Zoom meeting. This is a meeting for anyone who is interested in the Phrancko sweater, whether you've knitted one or just thinking about knitting one. The Phrancko sweater is a sweater you generate the pattern for at phrancko.com. The name is next to mine on the screen, I believe, even in the recording. It's spelled phrancko.com. Get the spelling right, and you can join us and show us progress on your Phrancko sweater. Feel free to join us anytime. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Judith.
Hello, Frank.
Hi, Rana.
Hi, Frank. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Sidra.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Joellen. Hi, Brian. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Brian. Can you hear me? Brian. Oh, Brian's connecting to audio. Yes. Hello, Brian, can you hear me?
Oh, hi. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yeah, I was trying to say hi and you weren't hearing me. So we greeted everybody here. Welcome, Brian. I think
Well,
this
thank
might
you.
be your first meeting. Is that right?
It is. I
Well,
wanted
you are
to,
certainly welcome. We're happy to have you
thank
join
you.
us.
I wanted to join and just say thanks for helping me out here a week and a half ago or so. That
Oh, I
was-
did? I'm
Oh.
sorry. I don't remember everybody I helped, but what was your problem that I helped with?
Oh, I broke your program.
What? You found a bug in it, did you? And I fixed it, I hope.
Yeah, it did tell me where to break the yarn on the
Oh,
shoulders.
that I remember that one. Yes.
Yeah.
I left out break the yarn on one version of one neckline. And
Yeah.
so it was confusing which yarn to break when. And I think you also pointed out that was a missing stitch number, or maybe I just found that when I was looking.
I noticed the missing stitch, but
Yeah.
I figured I could just count it up and figure it out. But I was glad to see you caught that too.
I caught that for yours. And then Ron, who's just joining us now.
Whoa,
Hi, Ron.
that guy again.
Yeah.
Hi.
Ron found another occurrence where the very same stitch count was missing. And then I went through all of the sweaters and found I had changed a name in the code and didn't change all the places that referenced it, and that stitch count was lost on a number of different patterns. So now it's all fixed. It's back on all of them. So
Nice.
how's everybody doing?
I have two questions.
Okay, shoot, Ron.
Number one, what did you buy us all on your shopping trip? And number two, Ron, did you find your paperwork for your Tunisian class?
I did.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
I did. Oh, it was the worst. But yep, there they are. See, I was gonna have to remake all these diagrams.
Oh my
Diagrams of
God.
all my swatches, my stitching
Wait a
out
minute.
diagram.
Let me spotlight you so we can see those.
Oh.
Show the pages
Yeah.
again.
Yes,
Wow.
That's
this is the handout for my Tunisian crochet class that in last week's meeting I talked about having lost.
yes.
Um,
Wow.
They wound up in an old user on my laptop that was not updating my desktop to my cloud storage. I had to go in and find it. It wasn't where I expected it to be in the cloud computing. Solves all of our problems, they told us.
That's right. Now you have more places to lose
More
things.
places to
Yeah.
lose stuff.
So it was in the digital equivalent of my couch cushions. Um, luckily, like I stopped looking, let myself get through the meeting, had a lovely time, and then was able to like, okay, there's one place I haven't looked. Tim had to physically go home and bring my laptop to the shop. And there it was.
Oh,
Terrific.
well, we're glad you found it.
I always like Rana's questions,
Oh, thank you, Judith.
really,
Yes.
so funny.
So Brian, how are you coming on that sweater?
Really good. I just separated the sleeves on it.
Oh, great.
It's
Want to
coming
hold it up
along.
for us to see? All right.
Oh, nice.
It's the blob.
Yes. Doesn't look like much of a sweater until you get a little bit past there. Then you can sort of tell, oh, yes, it's the two shoulders and two open holes for sleeves to go.
Yeah.
Is this your first one, Brian?
Actually, the one I'm wearing is the first one I've made for me.
Well, that's beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you.
well, now we have to spotlight that one. Look
Very
at
nice.
that. It looks great.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of a new knitter, so this is actually the first time I tried to knit a pattern.
Wow.
Wow.
But well, my wife reminded me this is actually my fourth sweater, my third Phrancko. I didn't do the gauge, so I ended up with this one as my first one.
Oh,
For you? Was that for you?
Well,
You said I didn't do the gauge and then held up a baby sweater. I said, well, that would be a problem.
well,
No.
my first sweater, I just followed a YouTube and just did what this guy did on YouTube. And that's this sweater behind me here.
Uh-huh.
And when I bound off, I only knew how to bind off one way. And I realized I had a problem. And so the bottom doesn't stretch. And that's how I found Phrancko. I was looking for a 1x1 bind off and found his video and found his website, and wow, it's just awesome. I couldn't wait to knit my first one to fit me. And then now I'm working on the second one for me, but it's actually my fourth Phrancko sweater.
Wow.
You.
That's
Very
an awesome
cool.
story. Thank you for sharing that. It was
welcome.
my intention in the beginning to write a pattern that was simple enough, or at least had enough videos describing how to do some more difficult parts so that anybody who can knit could do the sweater. And
Yeah.
then as I started publishing patterns based on it, they said, oh, this is not a simple pattern. You need to raise the complexity. And so they finally made me go all the way up to calling it a complex pattern. And so then I was worried that beginning knitters couldn't actually knit it. But now people like you have come in and said, yeah, I'm really new at knitting. And this is, some people have said, this is my first sweater and it worked really well and it fits great. That makes me feel so good.
Yeah. Well, in one of your videos, you were showing the complexity of the instructions to knit around the shoulder saddles.
Uh-huh.
And you said these instructions are written precisely the way you need to do it. And this first little gray sweater that I did was the happy baby pattern. And my intent was to try. And when I messed it up, I was just going to toss it. And I followed your instructions word for word. And the next thing I knew, I had a little sweater. So that was really awesome.
Oh, that's great. Because that's exactly right. In picking up the stitches is where I use that. I say, this is a
Yeah.
complex sentence, but if you take it apart phrase by phrase and
Yep.
do it exactly what each phrase says,
Yep.
look at turn the sweater this way with this side on the right and get this.
Yep.
It was like, pay attention to every single phrase and you'll be end up doing it correctly. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
helped.
It's like
Yeah,
eating the elephant.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Like eating the elephant, one bite at a time.
Yes, that's right. I love it.
I think that the like what knitters are willing to tackle for many knitters has like a quadratic style graph of what kind of complexity projects they're willing to take on. Because when you're really new, you don't know what you should be intimidated of. And so a lot of brand new knitters are willing to just start, like, I learned to knit last week, I want to make a sock. And they make one. And then the more you learn, you're like, uh-oh, maybe this is actually really hard. And I don't want to learn to read a chart. And it takes quite a long time for you to get confident again.
That's true.
So I just published my class schedule for January, February, March, and I want to present a design and knit your own custom sweater with the Phrancko method class.
Oh, good.
Hoping I can get a class of people interested in. So I'll keep you posted.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm excited. Heaven knows I have enough examples of what you can do with the pattern laying around here. So I'm hoping to start a class for that sometime in late February into March. So we'll see how it goes. But when I was writing up class descriptions, it was sort of exactly what you had talked about. I put in a note along this line when I was writing the class description that was like, according to standards, this is an intermediate or advanced pattern. However, like, if you are comfortable with these things, the rest of it can be learned as you go. You know, if you know how to knit and you know how to purl, you know some basic increases and decreases, the rest of it can come piece by piece as you reach that point.
That's
you don't
right.
need to be
Yeah.
expert in picking up stitches. It's all right there. Like, if you've never done a crochet cast on, provisional cast on before, well, you get to do two. It's not.
And you only have to do two for a very few stitches. That's the thing. It's not like you're trying to do it for, a 240 stitch
Yeah.
lace shawl or something. It's like you do it for 6 or 8 under the arm. It's like, okay, I can do that. Even for those of us that don't know how to crochet.
Right. She likes to remind us.
But I love how it makes the underarm, and that's what I do always for the sweaters. It just, there's no seam, no lump, no bump. It just goes perfect. And every time I do it, I have to just watch Frank's video and then I can do it. And I'm not even embarrassed to say that I slow it down to 75% so I can follow along as I crochet each little dinky one because I can't crochet.
Love your sweater, Cindy.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank you.
Can we
Kind of-
see the whole thing?
Oh, it's just a long. This is just one that I bought. It was inexpensive, but it's very soft.
Oh, how
It's just a long sweater.
Even better.
How festive.
No,
Wait,
You kind of need an ugly Christmas sweater. Oh. There you go. Ugly
we are.
Christmas sweater. And then I have a jingle bell.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the
that's
cats know you're coming.
So it's fine.
Oh,
and the beard is fuzzy
Well, it's actually just like painted on. It's a design. The sweater
Oh.
itself is wool and cotton, and the design is just printed on.
Oh,
It looks like it's, yeah.
I know
like
it looks
printed.
like it's, but it's not.
So what's everybody working on?
I'm working on a sock because the deal was if I do the sock, then Ron's gonna, he left, he's not even listening. He was gonna have to, he was gonna have to write up that shawl collar design. So here's my little sock that I've done. I actually did a heel flap and a the heel turn and the gusset.
Is that a short row heel, it looks like?
It's, yes,
Or it's not the,
this is
oh, no, it
heel
is a
stitch for the heel
gusseted,
flap.
it is a gusseted
It's
heel. Now
gusset, it's gusset, yeah, I'm just getting to
Yeah.
but you can tell that the leg is kind of long, and that's because I was knitting it in the car and I didn't have a measuring tape and I didn't have anything else to knit, so I just kind of kept going. So it's a little bit longer than I wanted, but that's what it's going to be. So, and
Do
I'll
you
have
have
plenty of yarn,
yarn?
so it'll be okay. Do I
do you
have
have
what?
enough yarn? Because you made
Yes,
it
I
long.
have plenty of yarn. Yeah, I have
Wow.
plenty of yarn. I was really careful. I always, when I'm doing socks, which I haven't done very many, but this is my trick that I did. I ball it out so there's half and half, so
Smart.
that I know that I'm going to have enough and not use into the other one when it's time to do the second sock. So
Very smart.
I just read it in a book somewhere. I can't take credit for it. I can't take credit, Rana. Oh.
Creativity is the art of remembering what you heard, but forgetting where exactly you heard it.
Right, where exactly. That's well, was it Elizabeth Cinnamon? It's like unventing.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't invent it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody else did it somewhere.
Convergent evolution.
But I like the stretchy in this one. This was oh, and this was the other piece. It was Kat Bordy's sock that was the basic one on number 7 that Sumner had been talking about. Well, the only thing was, as I got partway down the sock, I lost the book, and I have turned this house upside down, and I cannot find the book, so I do not have the pattern. So I started watching little YouTube videos, and it's like, okay, here's how to do a heel flap. I'll just do it like that. And here's how to do the gusset. I'll just do it like that, because I didn't have the pattern. And so then I went finally on Amazon, because I usually order my books secondhand. And I got a secondhand copy of Kat Bordy's Sock Sore on 2 Circulars, which was the one that Sumner had recommended. So now I have another copy, but I'm sure since that one came just yesterday, I'll find it here soon.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But
With
now
half
I
a
know
sock
how
in
to,
it.
now I do actually have the instructions for how long to knit it and where to finish the toe. So
Well, it's
But,
actually how long you want it to be, and you can try on the sock as you go to see
right,
if
and
you like
do.
it. So
Except for when you're in the car and you just
yeah,
kind of
that's a
keep
little hard.
knitting.
That's right.
That's not good. But I just didn't know, and I like the stuff that'll just be taller socks, so it'll be okay.
It's
But I
kind
was
of like
very happy.
the length of your Phrancko sweater. The
That's exactly
pattern
it.
will tell you to knit it the length you said you wanted it. But if you change your mind, you just keep knitting, or you cut it short, or whatever you want to do.
Yep. Well, it's
Just-
like Judith just went on and made a dress.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, it's like
Yes, that's right.
she
Judith
just
said,
she just
"Oh, I
kept
think I'll just keep going," and she ends up with a dress. A beautiful dress, I might say, Judith.
Mhm.
Sorry.
It was a beautiful dress.
It's a beautiful dress, and I don't know anybody else who's done a Phrancko dress.
And since the cold weather is now here, I'll be wearing it
soon.
All right.
Yay.
No.
Somebody else want to show us what they're working on?
I do. So my Phrancko is in timeout.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Did it do something
Oh.
naughty?
Time out.
Well,
No.
because I'm in the process of making pot holders or
Oh,
so double knitted.
Oh,
how
cute.
Oh, those are darling.
that's
So
great.
then there is, let's see, this one and that one. So this is the first time felting.
Oh, wow.
Oh, isn't that
Mhm.
neat?
Yeah.
And then this is the one that's been completely
Cool.
felted.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, so
Um,
those are cute. What yarn did you use to felt like?
The patent 100% wool.
Oh, okay.
That's what these are. So
Yeah.
I
And
need
it
to
worked
go
really
and get some-
well.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. They,
Uh-huh.
I would really like a bigger pot holder than this, but that's the
You-
way it is.
When you felt, is it that you don't know what size it's going to be when it's over?
I think
mean,
so. This is the
I
first time I
guess-
ever felt it. So yes.
Yeah,
It's-
I've never
it's
felt
one of
it, so I
those
don't know
things-
that at all.
It's one of those things, Frank, where you have to swatch. You have to do a big piece, and you usually do it on bigger needles than you
I
would
see.
think, because you want it to have space to like shrink up and do. And then when it shrinks up, for different yarns or different even types of sheep, they'll shrink more or less.
I
They all
see.
shrink a bunch, but
Yeah, I didn't
some
do
of them,
that.
if you,
I just did my
So-
needles that I thought would work best and I like, and so that's what it did. And so I threw it in the washing machine. This is the one that was just the first time going through the wash.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And this was the second time going through the wash.
Well, and for pot holders, you want them to be quite dense. So you
Oh,
really
yeah, they're
want them
very
to shrink up
dense.
a lot. You really want them
Very
to shrink
dense.
up a lot. Yeah. So
So,
you don't
yeah.
burn your fingers. Those
Yeah,
are cool.
definitely
that-
won't do that. But to get a good grip on this, I'm not sure how well it'll work.
It
I
might
just
be
think it's
too
small.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Your
See, that's
fingers
part of
might-
the other thing of why you do it on a bigger needle.
Yeah,
So that
I'll
when
have to
it
try that.
shrinks up, it kind of has some space.
Do you
So
have
I'm
a
doing
front
another
loader
one of
or
the
a
sheep ones.
top loader? When you ran through the wash, you have a
Sorry,
front.
what were you saying, Kathy?
No, it's a front load. So I just let it go.
Oh, I thought you said something, Kathy.
No, that was Ron.
It was
Oh.
Ron.
We sound a lot alike.
Well, we do. I've heard I
I
have.
think we all sound alike.
You get to a certain age, it's like infants, you all start looking alike and sounding alike.
Yeah, all babies do look alike. What's with that?
Right.
That's actually not true. We've been doing videos. Next week is my 70th birthday. And so I have all these songs that I've recorded, and we're putting pictures from 45 years on little videos with these songs. And so we have all these pictures of the kids and a bunch of babies. And it's weird because you can say, well, which baby is that? It's like, oh, well, that's Jimmy, or, oh, that's Momo. Well, Jimmy's 19 and Momo's 1. But you can tell their little faces which baby they are. I mean, they do all look kind of the same, all round and bald, but you
Yeah.
can tell. It's weird. Sorry, Ron. I didn't mean
That's
it that way.
interesting.
I have a picture of 3 of my kids in bed with my son, two of my girls, and 2 of them are identical. Of my girls, I have triplets, so 2 are identical and 1's fraternal.
Oh,
So there's my son, the fraternal, and 1 of the identicals, and we do not know who that one is.
Yeah, I can
Have
see where
no
that would
idea
be
who it
fun.
is.
But you know what? You guys can't see me, but you know me by my voice.
yes, we
Right?
do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So
You don't sound like a baby.
if the group was blacked out, I would know who's talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Humans are very good at distinguishing voices. It's very complicated what goes into making a distinctive human voice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And they
or
say
even a
most-
distinctive human face. I mean, I was just thinking the other day in the airport, how can all these faces be so different and recognizable? When you see somebody, how do you recognize them? How can there be that many subtle differences? We've all got two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, cheeks, forehead, you know, and yet we can recognize somebody when we
That's what,
encounter them in a new place.
evolutionarily, we're hardwired to distinguish things that make faces, right? Which is why
That's right.
people tend to see faces in everything. Any collection of 3 dots, we will interpret as a face.
That's right.
Because we're just like it's in our brains. It's very important. Like, try to recognize all your friends by a picture of their hand. You'll be stuck.
I've only recently learned that not everybody sees a face when they look at the moon. And I can't not see a face when I look at the moon. I've always seen a face when I looked at the moon. How many of you
Yeah, I
see a
do
face
too.
and how many don't?
I do.
Who sees
I
a
do.
face?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Who does not see a face when you look at the moon? Hold your hand up.
I
You do not see a face.
Judith does
read a
it.
book when I
Judith
was very
does.
small about the moon having a rabbit on it.
What?
So I can see a face. I can make myself see a face, but I think just having had this book when I was little, it was like.
But it's a rabbit face, huh?
No, it's like a rabbit. Yeah,
A rabbit.
yeah. In fact,
Okay, back to knitting. I'll show you my progress, though. It really looks pretty much like it did last week.
you're gone.
Oh,
Oh,
There it is.
no,
it
that's weird.
disappears.
It's
So
taking off.
His
there it
background
is.
on.
It's
This is funny. What are you
Turn your
doing?
the
background off.
background. What in the
Turn your-
world?
Turn your background off.
Oh,
Frank
forget
is
that
not
picture.
really there.
there
It's
it
a
is.
figment of our imagination.
Well, here
There we go. Oh,
There you go.
now.
there we go. Okay, now we're seeing it.
There.
It's longer though. It is longer than
It
last
is
week.
longer. That's all it is longer. I've got 4 inches to go, and then the ribbing, and then I can start the sleeves. So,
Or as long as you want, you could make it a dress if you want, Frank.
oh yeah, I could make it a dress.
I'm sure my marled cardigan would be a dress on most of you, since it hits me at the upper thigh.
And Sidra, we see you working on something? What are you working on?
I'm doing another one of the sheep one. But in
Oh,
red
I
and
see.
white.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's why my sweater's in timeout.
Cindy has a scarf pattern her daughter showed her with sheep on it that look a lot like that.
It does, because it was funny. Jody was saying, it's like, well, have you ever done double knitting? And it's like, no, but I do know some people that do it, because like Jenny does it, and Sidra, we've seen some of yours before. And she's like, well, what is it? It's like, I don't know. You just knit both sides at once and it has different colors. She's like, how do you do that? It's like, I don't know. So she sent me a picture, and it is a scarf with the sheep like that. And
Yep.
kind of the way she sent it to me, there was the implication that it's like, Mom, I think you should knit this for me. So
Yeah, she does. I'm doing her pot holders. So it's a really good, learning process.
it kind of looked like it, that it didn't have too much that changed. It was more kind of blocks of it that changed, not a real complicated pattern.
Well, as long as you use markers, stitch markers, the little pin ones. these.
Yeah. Oh, I use markers and everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. Without that, it was horrible. I tried it. But yeah, I think it's Nifty Knitters or something like that. It's her pattern.
Well, I'll have to see about it. So now who's going to do a double knit Phrancko?
That would be so hot.
It would be reversible. Well, how about if you do it? How about if you do it in like fingering yarn or something, or sport weight, and it's reversible, so you could have something on the inside and something on the outside.
Well,
And you'll finish in only 5 years.
Well, except for Sumner, he knits faster
It's
than the
Sumner,
rest of us.
yes.
He could finish faster.
some people use the technique of double knitting to knit 2 socks at one time. Like literally you knit one sock inside the other sock.
Right.
And then when
I
you're
have
done,
heard of
there's 2
people doing
socks.
that, and I can't even figure out how that would work, but I know it's possible.
Yeah.
Have you tried it? Has anybody tried that?
I've only done enough double knitting to know how to double knit, and then I put it aside. Like, well, this wasn't fun. Um, we all have our favorite flavors.
Yeah.
So here's what I've got. Speaking of the blob, I've been naughty and haven't actually worked on it that much this week, but it's top of
Oh,
another
yeah,
one of
it's coming along.
World sweaters. So
Mhm.
I'm color coding my bands to count the increases, because between this stitch pattern and black tweed, I usually just read my knitting if I can't. No,
There's no possibility.
I'm not reading this knitting.
It's kind of on black, you can't read it. It's like,
Yeah, so
it's
black
black.
plus tweed plus the mixed up knits and pearls in the stitch pattern.
Oh my gosh.
But you can see the shoulders are there, and then
Yeah, that's nice.
all
That's coming.
colors
That's
growing
good.
at both ends.
So I hope you're recording how to do that, because since
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
knitting the sock, you have to now.
From this point, it's very simple. It's just there's
Okay.
extra garter stitch on each end.
Yeah, that's not hard.
It's getting it started that is like, okay,
Mhm.
what direction does this piece of garter stitch fabric need to face?
And that
Where
is,
does
yeah,
the provisional
how to
cast
go.
on go? Where does the parent's doing something?
Uh-oh, he's calling you.
No, but Tim can copy this.
Oh, there for a minute, we thought it was a hysterical customer.
No, none of my customers are that funny. No, that was just Perrin who pops in and points at me accusingly in my own yarn shop.
So Kathy, are you going to show us what you're working on?
Yep, I'm ready. Let me pull these a little bit. So I started this last time I was at Phrancko. I had just a teeny bit done, and this is actually
Oh,
2 balls of yarn, and it's about,
Mhm.
once I block it, it'll be about 18 inches in depth at the most. So it's a shawl, and it's just a radial kind of a slip stitch shawl, but I'll show you when it's all done. But then this is, remember a few weeks ago, Sumner was asking, has anybody ever tried alpaca boucle? Well, I knew I was going to do alpaca boucle with this shawl. And so I'm going to make a ruffle with it. And it took me 2 hours just to wind it into a ball, because you have to do it by hand, and all the
Oh,
little
no.
strings
Ah,
stick together, and I'll show you what it looks like.
gosh.
Hold on. There. See that?
Oh, so it's got all the little loopies that
Oh
hook
my
on it.
God. But it's not so bad to knit with. I didn't find
Oh, that's good.
it's slow, but that's why Sumner doesn't like it. It's a
And
bit slow.
it came as a skein and a loop, like
regular
unwound,
yarn.
not a ball.
Yeah, not a
It's-
ball. Like
I've always
regular
seen
yarn.
that
How
come
cruel.
in a ball.
Oh, the worst part was I was watching TV while I was doing this, and we started a new murder mystery. And I'm watching TV, and I'm about halfway done. And then I realized I'm just pulling on a thread, and I'm pulling on a thread. And I had this huge tangle because I forgot to pay attention to what I was doing. It was horrible.
Oh, no.
But I got it done because, I told Roland, I said, well, I'll see you in the morning. But I actually got it done before bed.
That's good, that's
Beautiful.
good.
It's beautiful
Mhm.
shade.
Yeah, the colors are lovely. and
Colors are
everything.
going to be gorgeous together. See?
Yes,
Mhm.
look at that.
Mhm.
Whole thing is beautiful.
It will, I think it'll be really pretty. And it's, if anybody wants a pattern when I write it up, just let me know and I'll give you the pattern. Because I'm going to give it this is a pattern. It's, free pattern at the yarn show with the purchase of yarn.
Is that Stitches West? Is that the one? The yarn
Stitches
show?
West,
Mhm.
March 2nd through 5th. Stitches West.
Hopefully I'll see you there.
Sacramento this year.
Oh. You can sign up for it already?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I missed the message about that.
It's
I'll
been
have to
open
go look
for over a month already.
Mm-hmm.
Means I am shut out of any classes I probably want to take, but
I don't know about that because they moved the show to Sacramento.
I see.
And it might, it may or may not be as crowded as formerly. We'll see.
I didn't go last year. I
Nor-
signed up for one class and then, no, I signed up for two classes. One of them was Franklin Habit. And then it turned out that he moved to France and he wasn't going to be there. And I wasn't that interested in the other class, so I canceled
Yeah.
and didn't go.
Well, I hope you come. Oh,
I'll
no,
check.
you're not
I'll
there.
check again. You're going to be there.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to have a booth again.
All right.
Yep.
I'll
And
come join you in your booth.
that would be wonderful. I got my Phrancko sweaters. I ordered mannequins. I'll put them up on
Oh,
mannequins.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first year I did stitches, we shilled for Frank. Let me have some sweaters, and I talked about it to everyone at SoCal.
Okay.
Goofy. Joellen, what are you working on?
I am working on a little sweater for my granddaughter.
Oh, very cool.
I'm doing 3 colors. It started with, let's see here. Okay.
Mhm.
This is a taupe color. And then
Pretty.
right now I'm introducing a mahogany brown little
Oh,
set.
very pretty.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh,
And then I'll go that for a bit. And then at the end, I'm going to introduce this dark color at the bottom.
Oh,
The
wow.
name of it's granite, and it like it has gold in it. I don't know. It's a pretty
Oh,
little
pretty.
bit.
Mhm.
what kind of yarn is it? What
I knew you were
brand?
gonna ask that. Uno momento, por favor, sir. Okay, here it is. Pardon me. It's KFI Luxury Collection Adonis, and it's a blend of 50 wool and 50 silk. All of these 3 are wool and silk with different
Wow,
amounts.
50% silk is a lot. The yarn I used last was 25% silk, and I thought that was a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the feel of them all, and so that's where.
Does it have a sheen? Silk often gives it a like a little
Yes,
shine.
and I think that might be more the gold, and if it's the suggestion of it.
Oh yeah.
It looks
Oh.
browner here. It's almost black.
Joellen,
Mm.
how old is your granddaughter?
12.
Very nice.
Yeah, little bitty thing. I always think, she's going to be tall. Her arms, I think, almost touch the floor. She quit wearing my shoes years ago.
Joellen, remember this is going to be taped, so.
Yes, it is. So,
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm so bad. I'm so naughty. Just ignore me.
She's so tiny elsewhere that I forget, and like she'll say, "Do you have a belt?" And I'll say, "Oh yeah, I got a belt." Oh my God, you would wrap it around me 14 times. No, I don't have a belt. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with all that, but that's what I'm making. And Sumner the other day, he said now a couple of times, and I agree, when you're making these sweaters and you get just right about getting those sleeves off, or when you do, it's such a joy because you look at it and it's like you're sculpting something. It's like you're building a thing, and
Yeah.
it's really fun. So there.
I guess that's because it's already seamed together. I mean, it's seamless.
Yeah,
And
and it
if
has
you were making
form
separate
to it.
pieces, you wouldn't have that sense as you're doing it, that it's sculpting something. Is
Yeah.
that right? Is that where what that is?
That's a good description.
Yeah.
Rana, you want to tell us what you're working on?
I'm working on some hats and neck warmer combinations for Christmas, and I'm trying to get them finished.
Are they coordinated? Like hat and neck scarf together?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's nice.
It's cold outside.
Yeah.
I forget where you are, Rana.
I'm in Southern California.
And it's
Oh,
cold
outside?
outside?
I'm cold.
Relative.
Well, maybe you need to put a hat on right after you finish one.
He's like,
That's
you
why
can't
I'm working
walking
on
out in a sweat. I don't know. I'm sweltering.
That's why I forgot where you were, because I thought, she's not somewhere cold. What's going on here?
It's cold in my house. I
I
need to
see.
either turn the heat on, which I haven't yet. And hand warmers are my new best friend.
Yeah.
So do you do those that you kind of like have to activate, that you kind of like crinkle them? Is that the ones that you use?
No. These are, it's like a bar of soap. Feels like a bar of soap. And you just put them on and you can, they're just so comfy.
Huh.
And then you charge them when the battery runs out, but it
Mhm.
lasts a long time.
I just bought
Brian, where are you located?
I'm in South Jordan, Utah. We're about 15 miles south of Salt Lake City.
Oh. What's the
So-
weather like there now?
Cold and gloomy.
Oh.
It's not my favorite time of year.
Have you been in Utah very long?
I was born in central Utah and
Oh,
grew up here just outside of Salt Lake. So I've been here most
so
of my life.
where did you come from? Which city?
I was born in Gunnison, Utah,
Ah,
and my parents are both from Gunnison. And my wife and I both have some property down in that area as well. So we spend our summers down there quite often.
my folks were from Nephi and Delta.
Oh, yes. Yes. My great-great-grandfather, he lived over in Delta.
Ah,
So,
And you mentioned that you're a relatively new knitter. When did you actually learn? When did you first learn? Like, sometimes people learn and then put it aside and then come back to it. That's what I did. What about you?
it was probably, I was trying to think of when that was. I'm thinking it was February or March of this past year.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
wow.
Mm.
Makes you a
Um,
really new knitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're doing
So
great.
And you've already knitted all those sweaters. I think we have a new star here.
oh, no, not quite. But I was just last winter, we was sitting around bored, and my wife had some sewing projects that she was working on, and I thought, I need a hobby, and I don't know why, I just thought of knitting and decided to watch some YouTubes, and here I am.
You learned entirely from YouTube videos how to knit?
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's
Wow.
impressive.
That is
Good
very
for you.
impressive.
That is impressive.
Right.
But I have to admit, I've been watching these videos, these YouTube videos now for the past couple months. And I find the things that you guys are doing, just, I'm amazed. So
Oh, you mean you've watched our meetings?
yeah, I've been watching for a couple of months.
Oh,
So,
well, I'm so glad you
So-
finally joined us. I think
Yes.
Well,
Judith said she did the same thing, right, Judith? You watched a bunch of meeting videos and then finally you
Yeah,
got up the
yeah.
nerve to join us.
yes, I did.
We're
Don't
such a
regret it.
scary group, you can tell from the meetings.
That's right.
well, I'm really quite shy, and it's hard for me to meet new people. And so it took a lot of courage to sign on today.
Well done.
But I thought,
Same
well, I
here.
might as well.
I hope you feel welcomed. We're
Oh, I
really happy
do.
to have you here, and we're always looking for people to come and show us their progress as they go. And you know, it's not a closed group. It's a very open group to anybody who wants to become a regular too.
Well, every week I learn something new from you guys, and I really appreciate it. So
Oh,
it's been a lot of fun.
how nice.
We're all very
Please.
impressed by your work, if you couldn't tell.
Well, there's some mistakes in it, but hopefully
Show
in
us.
Come
time-
on now,
get
we
better.
never make mistakes, do we?
Never.
Well, one of the YouTube videos I watched said, remember, knitting's a craft. It's not a
Yeah.
science. Just sit back and enjoy it. And
That's right.
that's what I've done.
And often if you make a mistake, you think it has to be fixed, and often you would be the only person who would ever know that that mistake is there. Everybody else is going to see the whole sweater, and they're not going to see that one misformed stitch somewhere. Unless it's a drop stitch that you don't pick up and then it makes a big line up your sweater. That would be a different problem.
Yeah.
But many mistakes.
Catch it with a little pin button though. You just put a big old political pin on there.
In the
Well,
shop. I get
talking
a-
about,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Ron.
I was saying in the shop, I get a lot of medical professionals in, a lot of people who work in the medical industry, nurses, surgeons, come in and knit. And I think they like it because if you do make like a multiplication error, you know, no one codes. Like nothing will go wrong if you accidentally do the math wrong. The stakes are very low.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is when I was knitting the sock, and because I'm one of those that worries about that it has to be perfect, and I was one stitch off, and I'm like, what do? I didn't know where it was. Do I just rip it out or whatever? And it's like, heck no, this is a sock. It's going to go in my shoe, knit two together. I'm back to the right amount.
That's right.
And I felt a little wild when I did that, but it was nice.
Thelma and Louise over here. Living up-
As a matter of fact, I think I did that on the shoulder of this sweater. Don't tell anybody. There's a mistake, and I didn't go back and fix it.
If it's like one stitch, it's like no one's going to see it. No one's
That's
going
right.
to even know. Just either increase it or decrease it away.
Try to
If
do
someone
that
takes
when
your
you
sock.
in an area that's not very prominent, but other than that.
Well, mine is I couldn't figure out where I did it, but somewhere I had gotten an extra one, and it's kind of like, okay, it doesn't work to divide the way I needed it to do, so I'm just going to knit two together. It's gone.
Sometimes those mistakes can be turned into a design element
Oh yes,
and consistency.
be
If
true.
you continue to make the mistake, then you've got a real nice new pattern.
That's right.
In my original marled sweater, like I'm making now, there's actually a relatively large error that once I saw it, I was like 6 inches away from it. And no, the on one of the upper shoulders, the stitch pattern is off by one stitch. so the columns don't align. If you were to count all the way up the shoulder, you cannot see it. It's black tweed.
I know it's black tweed, so you're not going to see it at all.
By the time, oh, what have you done? What are you going to do about it? And that's the easier question to answer is nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. But I think there's a point where it goes from like the knits and pearl, or the pearls are arranged in this column, and then it goes boop, just on this shoulder, it's off by one. And
My grandmother would say they'll never notice it on a galloping filly.
right. Oy. Did we get through everyone's show and tell already?
Yes.
Judith, you didn't. You didn't,
You
Judith.
did not.
Oh,
You
did we
didn't,
miss
Judith.
Judith?
We're
Oh, I'm
keeping
so
count.
sorry.
Never
Judith,
would
you
have
weren't
known.
waiting on me to call on you, were you? You're supposed to volunteer.
Hope sometimes it will forget.
I'm halfway through my folded hem. I'm still working on my sleeveless top. So I have not much to show, you know.
What did you decide about the folded hem?
Yes, I'll do a stockinette stitch folded hem, but I'm gonna keep the provisional cast on. I've used the same yarn to create the provisional cast on,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
and I'm gonna keep it. I don't have my swatch. Anyways, I'll show you next week, but it's so small. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it.
Sure.
I'll show you
The first time you tried it was curling, right?
Slanted.
It was slanted, yeah.
Yeah, slanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if I, is it too late? No. If I keep the provisional cast on, I have to fold my hem. How can I say? Instead of folding the lower part inside, I do it like the opposite way. So my yarn, my working yarn is gonna be already on my left needle. So I have to be aware of closing that little hole since I'm changing direction. And that way my yarns, my stitches are all aligned. And anyway, keeping the provisional cast on makes a transition line, so it wouldn't show. If it wasn't aligned, it wouldn't show. And so if I change my mind, I can always take the provisional cast on off. Do I make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
Don't
Always
worry about it,
afraid that-
Judith. Don't worry
I'm
about it,
always
Judith.
afraid I'm gonna say something weird.
You're so
I say
funny.
weird things all the time, and I only occasionally get edited out. It's fine.
You hope you get edited.
I rarely edit anything. In fact, I usually don't even replay the whole video to make sure it's all okay. I did edit the beginning of the meeting last week up to the point where Ron says, "Oh, hello, everybody. Frank's not here." I said, "Okay, that's the start of the meeting." Everything you guys said before that is gone. So rest
Well, that
assured.
was the really good part, Frank.
Yeah.
You're a trusting soul.
On the
Can I-
special restricted Phrancko Knitters After Dark page.
Can I add just one thing about the folded hem?
Oh, yes.
So someone wrote me on through Ravelry, that the slanting might be because of the offset when you pick up the stitches. And I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
So that's it. That's all I wanted to add.
Well, the slanting could be because of the yarn, depending on what the twist is in the yarn. Are you knitting it with a single?
Uh,
Mm.
can you repeat the question?
Oh, sure. Are you knitting with a single yarn, or is the yarn plied? Is it just the
It's plied.
singles?
It's plied.
It's plied. Okay, all right. Because sometimes the singles will give a diagonal slant like that. So that's what I was just wondering.
whether it's a Z twist or a S twist.
Uh-huh. Oh, that no, I think it's an S.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Well, it looks like we have a couple of minutes left. Anybody have something they want to get in before we end?
So what did you buy us?
It was very evasive at the beginning.
I was hoping we could move on to the next question, Rana.
First class.
Where did you go?
I went to a mall and went shopping for clothes, and
Oh,
that's all.
I thought it was a yarn
Oh,
trip.
you were in the elevator,
No.
right? You called
Was
us
it
in the
success-
elevator?
It was in a mall, and
Successful?
I decided to check in right as we called for an elevator, and I thought it was going to take a while to get there, and then it suddenly arrived. Uh-oh. And then I couldn't figure out how to turn the video off. I thought it would end the meeting if I did, so I just muted, and I mean, it was a mess. It didn't really work to check in with you. It just made you know I was shopping and couldn't talk. I didn't contribute much to last week's meeting, except for editing out the parts that I needed.
Well,
It's
we were
nice not
glad
to
that
be
you
bad.
visited us.
Well, at
Till
least you
next
knew I
week.
was thinking of you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go get my Tunisian crochet ready. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
next
Class
week.
is coming again,
Next
right?
class, yes.
Well, it's really great to see you all again, and have a great week.
You too.
You too.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Frank.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Come back next week, Brian.
Yes.
If I can, I'll be here.
Good.
I really enjoy it. Thank you.
Good,
Terrific.
good, good.
Goodbye.